Welcome back to From Nine to Mom.
where we discuss balancing the 9 to 5 hustle with the beautiful chaos that we call motherhood.
And today we have a very special guest, Lauren Dewey, who is the owner and founder of BrooksyBox. I know if you guys listened to our episode last week, Danielle hinted that Lauren was going to be on, but we're so excited, Lauren, for you to be joining us today.
Thank you both so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yes. So Lauren and I met in our Rochester networking group. We're both part of the Stella Foundation. So shout out to Stella for connecting us. And we've just been hitting it off week after week. We've been at our coffee club and talking about being moms. And we're like, this collaboration is long overdue. But this month, especially, we wanted to get together and talk because it is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. And Lauren's business does a lot to support women going through loss, all stages of pregnancy, really motherhood in any capacity. So we are just so excited that you came on, Lauren, and are going to talk to us more about your business. And we're going to talk about all the things.
Awesome. Well, no, thank you. I'm excited to be here. So I'm Lauren, mama to two boys, Brooks and Caden, and the founder of BrooksyBox, which we help you support the women in your life when you don't know what to say or do, when they might be going through infertility, loss, pregnancy, postpartum, and those early stages of motherhood, which can be a little bit chaotic. And we do that through curated care packages. So every single care package that we have cares for her based on the stage she's in to meet her where she's at. And we just believe that every woman deserves to feel seen, supported, cared for, and less alone through her journey, wherever that may be, and whatever that may look like.
Yeah, it's such an amazing, concept to everything. And I think both Danielle and I have had these moments of where like someone's going through something and when you haven't gone through what they're going through, because there are so many varieties of, you know, different places, like you're saying, where they're at and you don't know how to support someone. It's so nice to just have somewhere to go that can help take care of that. So it's a really, really cool concept. And I know a lot of women have felt like that for people in their lives that they don't know what to do. But I don't know that we've gone through our whole stories, but both Danielle and I have experienced loss different times in ours, and we both were there we were part of
Yeah.
each other's lives during both of those. So I wish we knew about you back then. That's
Well,
for sure.
especially me, because I went through it after Katie. I remember, I mean, I already had Colton, and I remember thinking I should understand what this feels like, but I didn't understand what it felt like. We weren't in the same state, and I wanted to be able to support her, but nothing felt appropriate. Like, do I send cookies? Do I send flowers? And then after I went through it, I realized those things wouldn't have necessarily been appropriate for me in the moment. So I do wish that there was something like what you're offering out there that I could have supported her with. And now, having gone through it myself, I feel even more passionate that there is a very specific feeling that you have, whether it's loss, infertility, even there's very specific feelings that you have in those moments. And everyone always says, like, oh, I wish there was more I could do. And there is more. And this is something that you've designed because of your experience. So we'd love to know kind of what brought you to bringing Brooksy Box to life.
Yeah. And so I'll kind of walk through one piece and then kind of go into how BrooksyBox started as a whole and kind of to what you were saying. Like, you just don't know what you don't know, right? Like, if you haven't lived through, you haven't experienced it, like, it's no fault to you. You just don't know what you don't know. And I think that serves for a lot of different things in life, right? And so while I've never personally experienced loss myself, I had several friends who went through miscarriages. And I just didn't know what to say or do in those moments. And looking back, I was like, I just resorted to sending flowers because I'm like, that's just kind of the societal norm, right? You send flowers when someone loses. But honestly, I just didn't want, after I thought about it more, like, I'm sending something that's just going to like not last very long and not be able to like honor her baby and help comfort her more during that time. So, which is kind of why I got into how I created my one loss box. But how I created Brooksy Box as a whole. So my husband and I, we struggled with infertility for almost 3 years before having our first son, Brooks. Once we went through like one medicated cycle, six failed IUIs, and then we ended up going through IVF. And that's when it worked for us, which he's a blessing in so many different ways, our own little miracle baby. But after we got pregnant, everything was still all about Brooks, right? Like, I was doing my registry and oh my gosh, no joke, I was in my corporate position at the time. I had a holiday time off where I literally spent 3 days researching all the different gadgets and tools that he would need and looking for the best options, and that's what my registry was made out of. I didn't get anything for myself but, like, nipple butter and undies. And then when he was born, I was, a little blindsided by postpartum. Everything was still all about him, and all my focus was obviously on him too. And so when my sister-in-law first came to meet him, she brought me a basket of items that cared for myself and my recovery, and I was just so blown away by it. I literally just started crying. Obviously, like, the hormones are just raging,
Of
right?
course, of
And you're
course.
just it's so many different feelings all at once, but I was like, "This is all for me." Like, it's not something for him, and she just made me feel so seen and supported in that moment when, honestly, I felt like I was only existing at that time to take care of someone else. Like, that's just what it felt like to me.
Mhm.
And so I was like, why have I never done this for a mama before? I was always the one getting just another outfit for the baby, probably outfits that they were never wearing because they were cute little overalls and shoes and all these things for like
Right.
newborn. They just want to be comfortable. So after that, anytime a friend had a baby, I made her a care package of items that specifically cared for her during that time in her recovery. And one day I'm just like, I want to make every woman have that feeling no matter where she is on her journey of motherhood, because having gone through infertility myself, I know that the path is not linear. I know that it's not you just get pregnant and you have a baby and everything's great. Like, there are so many different paths to motherhood. So that's really where the idea for BrooksyBox came.
It's
Well,
amazing too
genius.
that that one person in your life kinda, like, sparked the whole idea of that, because I feel like everyone has those moments, and especially, like, once you become a mom and you go through something like that, like you're saying, I every time I go to a baby shower now, I get the same gift for whoever it is, and right now, and I think it's changed a few times now, but right now it's I get them all of the, like, Tylenol, Motrin, like, stuff that you don't stock, and I'm like, "They're gonna need that in 3 months when they get their first fever, and you don't even think about it, and you need it," and it's cool that, you've done that. So can you tell us a little bit, because you have boxes of things obviously you haven't experienced, what is, like, your research to going and picking items that go in the boxes?
Yeah, so almost everything I've experienced besides the lost box itself. So I have boxes that I'll kind of like walk through the different boxes that we have. We have infertility, we have a baby loss one, we have a pregnancy like congratulations, we have a morning sickness box, a labor and delivery box for things that care for her through the hospital stay. We have a C-section box. We also have a postpartum essentials box for a natural delivery too, but that one can be universal for both C-section and natural. Then we have a few different mama boxes. We have one universal box, which is a thinking of you box. So I wanted to put one in there that could be really used for any stage of just, hey, I'm thinking of you. Here's some self care goodies just for you. And then tomorrow, actually, so by the time this comes out, we will have our NICU hospital stay, extended hospital stay box out there to support those mamas in either, in the NICU or those that are in the hospital for an extended period, whether their child is going through a surgery or illness or whatever it might be to support them through that time.
That's so smart because I think about that all the time because it could be for anything, but I was talking over the course of this week. I met someone who was saying that they left their baby in NICU for weeks on end and it was just so difficult. Some people go back to work while their kids are still in the hospital. And you think about in that moment how much support a mom would need. I didn't even think about maybe I'm a bad person. I didn't think about like what can I get them? You're saying I'd be like, I feel awful for you, but
Right.
that's such a good idea because mama needs love in more ways than one at that
Right.
time.
Did
No,
you
absolutely.
did you experience a NICU stay at all with either of
So
yours?
no, so I guess it means 2 boxes now, but I
Not to
did have
not to
one.
complain you, I just was curious, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
no, I did not. Luckily, we did not. I had complications after birth myself, but, um, Brooks did not, or Caden did not. So,
That's
yes, we were
amazing,
fortunate that
yes.
way.
I
But
did have one, and Jack was there for a week, so I didn't, like, feel the I don't even know what I would have needed, is that bad?
no, I mean,
You don't even I don't think I was thinking clearly.
there's so much going on at that moment, right?
Yeah, it's really crazy. So it's really cool though that you've taken a lot of your personal experience and put them into the box of things that you wish you would have had, or things like that. I know that you have lots of stories of people when they have found out about you or that where those personal wins for you that make you feel good when you hear people talk about Brooksy Box.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So I think it's just I have a lot of people that will message me after they buy a box and it's just like specifically for the lost one, right? And they were like, I never know what to say or do. Like I would feel helpless. And it's so nice to have a curated box because I don't know something to send. And I've always sent flowers in the past and I don't want to do that. And kind of going back to your initial question, Katie, on why I like created the Always Mine box, which is our lost box. I had a few friends unfortunately, go through miscarriages. And like I said, I just always resorted to sending flowers. And I wanted to create something that would comfort her during that time, but also that would honor and remember her little one. So in that box, we have like an eye pillow that is slightly infused with lavender. So is nice calming for her. There's a wild rose bath soak, obviously at discretion of when you are in your healing process of when you can use that. And then there's a candle that we created in collaboration with the Flourish Co. locally. So she does all, Lainey over there is amazing. She does all of our candles, and that candle is specifically created that says Always Mine on it. So it's a great remembrance candle for her to light at different times throughout the year. And especially this month with Infant and Pregnancy Loss Awareness Month, there's the infants, like there's a wave of light where you can light your candle and honor and remember your baby. So I wanted something that would last longer than flowers and comfort her in different ways. And also every time she lights it, she's able to, either keep it on her nightstand or whatever it might be.
Yeah, I think it's important. And I think too, Danielle and I have shared some of our stories, I feel like. So we did an episode last year, this in October as well, where Danielle and I kind of dove into some of our experience too. And um unfortunately, but fortunately, I was with Danielle when she was starting to experience her loss, and I feel like we both needed different things in those times. I'm a very, like, private person, like, I hibernate whenever something's wrong, I don't wanna, like, see anybody, I don't wanna talk, I don't nothing, and then I process on my own, and I think, like, Danielle, you were, like, ready for some support at the time or wanted
Yeah.
somebody around that, you know, could talk through some of that.
Yeah, like, even just, like, the presence of a person, like, you just being there, knowing that you understood what I was going through, because I felt like I was in this spot where I was not where with my husband. I was in Rochester when it happened, so I traveled to Rochester. I had just had to do, like, a huge presentation in front of everybody when it started happening, and I remember Katie just came out because she knew, like, that is me. Like, I didn't need to, like, fully, like, I never posted about it or talked about it, but I needed I needed to be with someone who could just, like, understand. So if I had to say anything or, like, and I don't even think we talked that much, Katie. I just feel like you were there.
No, I remember feeling so bad, and so giving this all to you, Lauren. I was already pregnant again by the time this
Oh,
happened, so
yeah.
remember, I
Mhm.
was, like, scared to be around you because I was like, I know that when it happened to me, it was so frustrating, and I'm sure you relate to this too, Lauren, going through infertility treatments and that, like, sometimes being around pregnant women is really hard.
Yeah, very hard.
And yeah, and I can only imagine for you, like, being, that was hard, and I was like, "Okay, now Danielle's going through that. I don't think she's gonna wanna be around me." I
No,
just
for me, it was, like, hopeful because I was like, "She got pregnant again so fast, like, obviously, this is a blip in the like, I can do this or whatever." And I do think, though, like, in that moment, like, 2 people needing 2 very different things, like, but both of us would have enjoyed, like, getting that curated box of, like, care towards each other. So I think that's one of those things that, like, everybody's gonna react differently to anything that they experience, but just having something that's curated to know, like, some people might take that candle, like, I would light it probably in private. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, when I'm thinking of
Mhm.
the baby or, like, I'm thinking about even somebody else, like, that's going through it, like, just to, like, have a moment,
Yeah.
but some people might, like, wanna light it and, like, you like, post about it or talk about it because and I found that not just miscarriages, fertility. Like I have a friend who started her infertility journey that literally we gave her her first shot on the bed at a big like gathering of all our college friends. And there's people who are going through IVF that never tell anybody, and all of a sudden they're like, "Yep, we went through IVF." So everybody's different, but everybody needs to be cared for regardless, right?
Yeah, and just to feel less alone too. I think with the topics like infertility and loss, like yes, we've come a decent way, but we still have a long way to go. Like these are topics in my mind that have just been so taboo in society for so long. And I think people can feel uncomfortable about those topics. And that just a lot like that just unfortunately puts the individual who is grieving or going through that and navigating it feel even more isolated because it's like, well, this is happening to me. Like you have every right to feel the way you do. All your feelings are valid and you deserve that support and to be able to talk about it. And I think that's the biggest thing is that people sometimes don't know what to say or do because they haven't been through it, which is completely valid in itself. Opening up, I think that's one benefit of social media. It's just opening up those conversations even more. So even those that might not ever talk about their journey, like I barely talked about my journey when I was going through it for specific reasons. I was in a corporate leadership position. I didn't want to disclose any of that just for fear of different things. And now I talk about it all the time and I will never stop talking about it for that one person that needs to feel like she isn't alone, even though she's holding things private herself. So, but I think as a society, we have a long way to go still.
Yeah, I
And just
remember, Katie, that's something we
conversation.
talked about. It's like, it's so crazy to me how many people, once you say it, like this happened to me, that will
Mhm.
come to you and say, "Oh my god, like, that I didn't even know," that I either had multiple situations or even, like, parents, like, friends of mine whose parents acted as second parents to me, that after I said something was like, "Oh, I had 2 miscarriages between A
Mhm.
baby and B baby." I don't wanna call any names. And you're like, "I had no idea. I knew you then." Like, and I had no idea that these things were happening. And I think, Katie, after you and I went through that experience kind of close together, we started talking about it more and just realizing that it happens to so many more women than you know in so many different capacities. And it's just, there's people who have gone through it, like you said, feeling completely alone because there's not one person who, like, in their life had said anything. So I feel like the narrative needs to change. And like you said, it is changing. People
Mhm.
are starting to do it. And social media can be good and bad for so many things, but there's been quite a few people, if you're in like the mama community, that have
Mhm.
opened up an experience. Like there's two influencers, I won't use their names, but if you follow them, you know they lost a baby and they just had their baby very recently. And it's like very cool to see them celebrating that and going through that, but still honoring the loss of
Mhm.
their
I know
last.
exactly who you're talking about, and
Yes,
can we
same
just
here.
their humor to
They're the
it?
Yes.
best.
Like, it
Yeah.
makes me laugh because I was doing that behind closed doors with just my husband, right? Like, after we experienced that, like, we were acting like that, and I'm like, "How cool is it that they're just out there
Doing
doing it
it.
and it's helping, like, normalize it?" Like, that's a lot of people use humor to grieve, right? And, like, it's so cool to see them doing that and being happy now, obviously, but
'Cause you're using humor and you feel bad. Like, I remember, this is so terrible, but when I went in to, like, confirm, I'm laughing right now because it was so out of, like, left field. I had gone through 2 ultrasounds, and then we finally met the doctor, to, like, finalize what we were gonna do and confirm, and he's like, "You know, getting pregnant," he's like, "It's like going to Vegas. Like, you win some, you lose some." That's what the doctor said to me and my husband,
let's be
and
clear,
most
she
people would.
doesn't go to this doctor anymore.
I don't anymore. And
He was
and
dropped so
it
quick.
like,
I don't know.
boom. But I didn't at first. At first, we just sat there and it took me a minute to process. He left the room and we just started laughing. So, like, I don't know if I've ever told this part of the story. Jordan and I laughed so hard about it. We're like, this is absolutely insane. Like, this can't be real. We went and spent $300 at our favorite restaurant, drinking and eating. And then we went over and we could not afford this at the time. We reset my wedding ring because we were just like, screw it. Let's just go do
Yeah.
something fun, like laughing or like people. That's what we did. Okay. Normal or not, I don't care. But having people say it and do it online, you're like, okay, like there's different ways to
I'm
cope
not
and
crazy.
we're not that nuts.
Yeah. No, I had to get a new car and when my husband's like, "Let's go to the Audi dealership." I'm like, "I don't need an Audi. Like, I don't need to go there. I had a Pontiac before. They don't make them anymore, so I can't get that." But, we, like, test drove it, I'm like, "I love it," and it's, like, the smallest, like, compact car, and, like, we were in the midst of infertility, I'm like, "Well, it's not working, so YOLO," and I was just, like just bought it on the spot. I was like, "I don't care," because like, you put your life on pause so much, and it's like, that was one thing where I'm like, "No, I want this, I don't even care," and, yeah, now, I mean, 2 car seats, I'm like, "Okay, this is a bad decision." It's very tight, but, yeah, you
Can't go
just
back on it now.
being open different ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you committed to it. Okay,
Right.
retail therapy works for a lot of people.
Yeah.
I'm not condoning it, I'm saying that if it works for you, it works for you.
Right.
So I know you kept your infertility journey pretty quiet. Did you share it with like close friends, family?
Yeah, so I unfortunately, but fortunately for me, had 3 of my best friends go through infertility before me, and I didn't really know what they were going through before when they were actually going through, and I feel awful looking back, like, I feel sick about it because I'm like, "I wish I woulda supported them differently, I wish I coulda supported them better," but again, you just don't know what you don't know, so, I was very fortunate. 2 of them, ended up getting pregnant through IUI, 1 through IVF, so the one through IVF, like, her and I would talk consistently about it, and she was just like my sounding board, which was great because it's someone that understands exactly what you're going through, right? Whereas my other group of friends from like high school, none of them had issues getting pregnant. So it just made it even harder to relate during that time. And I started trying and they were all having kids while I was still trying. It was hard. It was hard to be a part of those conversations. So yeah, it was
So
challenging that
isolating.
way. But yeah, we told like our family and everything. But again, they didn't really know what to say or what to do. And so I really leaned on those 3 friends. And luckily, I had that support system, whereas some don't have that. So that's where I do see that positive in social media when it doesn't, trigger in different ways. But
Yeah.
um,
And that's a big reason why we're doing this podcast. We're trying to incorporate more topics of things that people don't talk about so that you can find some relation somewhere to help you feel better and hear other people's stories. I know that was for me like going through so I had my miscarriage. I didn't have any kids yet. It was before Jack. And I remember just, like, searching on TikTok had just become a thing,
mhm,
and so I was, like, going it was COVID too, because what else were
Of
we gonna
course.
do during besides try to have kids? And so, I was, like, searching the internet, and I'm all over TikTok just trying to relate to these people's stories because I'm like, "Am I g" like, you start questioning, am I like, I'm can only imagine what you were going through of, like, "Can I get pregnant? How long am I gonna try this for? What's the alternative?" And, that was we had been trying for 8 months before, and then I had a miscarriage, and then I, like Danielle said, got pregnant really quickly after. So luckily my mind didn't go that far down the rabbit hole of that, but you start, like, reaching for anything, and we joke all the time on here how, like, desperate moms get, and, like, it's really easy to prey on moms and different things, like, the things that I've bought at 2 between the hours of midnight and 4 a.m. are, like, insane, so it's really hard, but this what you're doing feels so supportive in a good way of moms, of things
Mhm.
that you can do to really help them other than buy things on Amazon, so
right.
Yeah, and I think, like, the I was just thinking about this as we're talking about what's happening, and I have, people in my life, and I won't call them out, but I've had people who have lost babies, like, well after they should have, nobody should lose a baby, but, like, you know, and they celebrate their birthdays and do stuff like that, and I never know what to do, like, because I wanna honor them too, but you don't know what to do or say e other than happy birthday in those moments, right? Like, or make sure you reach out. But, like, the thinking of you box, like, that's something you could send to somebody years later, like, just like or like, I was just thinking about you, like, or I saw that this was the anniversary or whatever, because I do think about that a lot. Even sometimes there's nothing going on, and I'm like, I just am thinking about this person, like, in this moment for what they were going through. Or like some of my friends had successful like rounds of IVF and then they wanted more and they only had a certain number of embryos and their family plan never came to the way that it's what they have and they love it and they're whatever. But then anytime any of us announce a pregnancy or a new baby, like that person, is a little bit inside so happy, but
Right.
also
Of
sad. Like
course.
that would be a good thing to give to them. Like sometimes we don't even think about those
Right.
moments and it's a good thing to buy. And I want to be clear, like Lauren said, these are not because we've all done bump boxes or things like that. Like there's no these are all curated boxes. They're all um built by Lauren. They're not like promotional items that she's trying to like buy in bulk and give to you. They're like genuinely like it's a gift box, not a subscription box.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest, like, differentiators from those that might be out there right now, and kinda going back to, like, how I curate each box and how I choose them, like all those items. So if it's like an infertility box, that are items that care for her based on her infertility treatments and or for her fertility treatments and helping her get through those treatments. And so all of the items are created in collaboration or sourced from women owned businesses. That's super important to me, obviously, here to support women. So all of them are from women owned businesses. And then they are all safe and clean for her and baby. So nothing has fragrance or dyes or sulfates or parabens or phthalates because we do not want to disrupt her hormones in any way possible. And then the other thing is just like, it's something that I've used on my motherhood journey, whether it be with Brooks or with Caden and what I'm currently using right now, because I won't gift something to your friend that I don't love myself. So those are kind of like the different criterias that I have when sourcing different products is if it's not any one of those, then like it just doesn't get in the box. And obviously, like I want practical items, like it has to take care of her in that time. But it's major bonus points when it's aesthetically pleasing too. Cause I just think it's different when you're opening up a care package and it just looks beautiful too. Like that's also my goal too, because it's that little moment of like bliss for her through such a hard time.
And anybody that goes and looks up BrooksyBox, you're gonna see really good branding. So you've done an amazing job coming from
Yes.
two marketers. So
Oh, thank
I'm
you.
obsessed with your branding. I love it. Um, but I do wanna talk too about you just mentioned women-owned businesses. So I wanna talk too about your journey to starting it because now obviously you're if a mom entrepreneur. We need like a what's the
A
mom
entrepreneur,
I can't even pronounce
momtrepreneur.
which obviously we're huge supporters on, and one of the
Yeah.
things we like to talk about on here is how moms have worked through their journey because, we're a working moms podcast, right? But you've hinted at that you were in corporate, while you were going through treatments and that will you give us kind of your story of, corporate to where you are now?
Yeah, absolutely. So I was in corporate for 14 years. My last position was a corporate leadership position. So I was traveling like 3 weeks out of the month, just all across the Northeast and throughout the US. And COVID had a little blip with that, but then we were starting to get back into our travel and everything. So luckily for me, unfortunately, like COVID kind of happened at a good time for us to go through fertility treatments because I was home and was able to go through those treatments and have my husband give me the shots. And I don't know how we would have honestly done it if not. So that was like COVID was a little bit of a blessing for us. So that's like a positive through that whole time. But so then I went on maternity leave when I was pregnant with Brooks, and my company was amazing. Like gave 4 months of maternity leave. It was a major corporate company, so they had those things available. And I remember speaking with one of my team members at the time when I was on leave. And she was like, "Aren't you so excited to come back?" And I was like, "Yes, of course." And I was her direct leader. So I had to say those things. I felt like, right? Like, yes, I'm so excited to come back. I can't wait. And then I just like had this weird gut feeling. And I was like, wait, I'm like, I want to stay home with him, but I also love working. Like, my whole thing was I was climbing the corporate ladder. Like, that was always the vision. Never ever thought I would ever stray from that. Like that was what I was doing. Like money. I like making a lot of money. Like that was my biggest thing, right? And so when I had that feeling, it was very, very strange for me. And that's I think what started my whole like identity shift after becoming a mom. But after I got back from maternity leave, our company was going through a major restructure, and a few of the leadership positions were just like eliminated. So luckily, or not fortunately, I was one of those, but it allowed me time. This happened at 5.5 months for him and allowed me time to spend with him. And as I was looking at different positions and talking to recruiters, I just felt this pull of like, I don't want to be in a hotel room right now. Like, I want to be home, but I also need something for myself and I need like a bigger thing. So it all came back to the care packages that I was creating. I was creating one day for another friend who just had a baby. And I remember I just changed Brooks. I was coming down the steps in her house and I was like, wait, I should just do this. So that's what sparked the idea to really like move forward. And here we are juggling that between the two little kiddos.
And yes, and now looking back, are you like, how would I have stayed in my previous position with these two crazies?
Yeah, I mean, well, and my husband's a city fireman, so his schedule, he'll work like 24-hour shifts. So he's gone overnight. So I'm like, we would have had to get like an in-home nanny or something. So like that was already going to have to be a conversation of like, what do we do? Because we don't really have too much support here locally. So it just, I don't know, I guess things have a way of working themselves out.
You say that and I sound so ridiculous sometimes, but I really do believe that like everything occurs in a sequence, like, and it gives you an opportunity, whether you take the opportunity or not. And I think it was really what you said was you felt the identity shift. And I think so many of us, when I got pregnant, I was also in a more corporate
Hmm.
role, climbing the ladder, working a
Yeah.
bajillion out, and I loved my job. It wasn't that
Yes.
I didn't
Yeah.
love, I loved my job. And I just knew that I also am a person that goes 150% no matter what I do, and I couldn't see myself doing 150% on both things fully in that role, and I
Mhm.
still wanted to work, and I still did work, and I still traveled, so, like, it was possible, but the job I took allowed me to travel with Colton. So, it was, like, a totally different experience because I didn't have to be separated like you were saying, like, you'd have to be separated. I could take him with me because the company I still work for, um, Katie and I work with YPC Media, like, they allowed me to have that opportunity. It was just, like, a really good
Yeah.
fit, and I feel that so many of us, though, feel that identity shift, and it's scary because we spend our whole lives Katie and I talk about this constantly. It doesn't mean you don't wanna work, it doesn't mean you don't wanna be number 1, but the climb is a little different, like, you can't
Yeah.
climb completely, like, straight up because there's things taking you side to side, so it's just a different journey, and I know a lot of us feel guilt when that happens or confusion, still feel that way
Mhm. Yes.
sometimes, but
100%.
it's completely natural, and I think you saying it is just, like, another one of those things, like, for people listening, it doesn't mean any one way is right or wrong, but, like, if you feel that happening in your soul, it's okay, you're not, like there's so many of us that feel that.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
and it's so important to find your circle of people that help support all of it. And I'm going to give another shout out to Stella again, too, because Lauren and I have been seeing each other, I mean, at least once a month at coffee clubs.
Yeah.
I got to meet her too.
I
Yeah.
know you get to experience it too. And it's just so good to be around. I mean, majority of the women at that event is their moms. So it's amazing to collaborate, be around other entrepreneurs, other business women that, are going through it. And, it's good to find people to relate to, which goes back to this whole topic, right? Like
Right.
having people that can relate to you in whatever phase of life you're in and having your circle of people.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's so helpful to have that, especially going from working in corporate to all of a sudden being like solopreneur at the current moment. And I'm just like, the great thing is I get to make all the decisions, but the bad part is that I have to make all the decisions. And sometimes this recovering perfectionist in me, it becomes a lot. And I'm like, I'm trying to juggle all the different things. And it's nice to just be able to finally like bounce ideas off people again, because that's what I always had was just bouncing off different ideas. And now it's just like I'm in my head and my thoughts all day, every day.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not a good place to be.
Well, we have to go into quick before we run out of time here. We need a quick update of how you already gave us how old the kids are now, but
Oh,
um,
did I? I don't know
I
if
don't
I did.
remember if you did.
I
I
don't
think you
remember.
did.
Well, Brooks is he'll be 3.5 soon. And then Caden turns 14 months tomorrow, actually. But
It
so
goes fast.
Wow.
yeah.
And then we also put on there one of the things we ask all of our guests to bring to the table is we have a segment, I guess we call it the shit you can't make up. And it came from Danielle and I just always giving each other the excuses of like funny things that our kids do that we just are like, people aren't even going to think this is real, that I'm giving this as an excuse or, an embarrassing moment. So you got to give us your shit you can't make up experience with your kids.
I mean, there's so many, but, I think I don't even know if it's an embarrassing moment. It's just like, I literally just thought this last week at 2 in the morning. I'm like, "You can't make this shit up." So my husband, as I mentioned, is a city fireman, so he was working overnight, and Caden had, like, a terrible cold that Brooks brought home from school, and he couldn't breathe, so he woke up just screaming, and I'm like, "Okay." So I go in there, trying to calm him down. He's losing his absolute mind. Brooks's room is across the hall. He wakes up, he's screaming, starts losing his mind. And I'm like trying to just yell over softly, like, I'll be right there, buddy. Just with Kaden. He starts losing it even more. They're both screaming. Like, basically screaming at each other at this point, and I'm like, I can't be in two places at once. I'm gonna lose my mind and start screaming because it's 2 in the morning. I can't get either of them down, and I'm in separate rooms. And I'm just like, I don't know, to anyone who is solo parenting or has a spouse or partner that travels overnight or works a night shift or something, like, I feel you, I see you in those moments because I'm just like, you can't make this shit up. I'm about to lose my mind.
Yes, for
I'm like,
real.
he's
That
screaming. I'm like, I'm overstimulated at the moment. And yeah, it's just when that
Did
happens.
you
And
end up sleeping with both of them? Oh, after being overstimulated, they both end up in bed with you?
no, because they will mess with each other. They will not sleep. Yeah, it's so I even tried bringing Kaden into Brooks's room real quick. That like made them, their decibel just went even more. It
Perfect. So
was,
now
yeah.
you're like, just cool,
I
cool.
was like,
Great.
okay.
I'm not good at math, so what's the gap
So they're
age?
2 years and 3 months apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have not done they have both my boys have not slept in the same room before.
Yeah. No,
It's
I
I
My
don't
think,
even
kids
wanna
have
try.
now.
yeah.
I don't wanna try, I'm too scared.
They have now, but they like they will mess with each other. And then they argue because they both want to be in the middle, but like they both want to sleep next to me. Like if we're all
Wow.
together, like
Yeah.
on vacation or something.
Yeah.
So then that's like a big argument. And like every night, I feel bad for Jordan right now. They're like in a mom mode and it's like, mommy sleep with me. No, mommy sleep with me. So then we're trying to teach the 4-year-old to like now he's learning the art of manipulation, which is probably a bad parenting tactic, but he'll be a great salesman someday. So he'll be like, Daisy, mommy's going to sleep with you. She just has to go to the bathroom like really quick. Or he'll be like, Daisy, do you want my toy? You've been asking for it for hours. Like, here's my toy. And I'll be like, run. That happened last night. Mom, run. I'm like, okay. So then it
Honestly,
works.
it's so funny how they learn that. Jack is just learning to do that now, and he'll be like, "Mommy, it's just a trick, don't worry." Because he
That's
knows
what Colin says. Mommy, I'm just lying. You're still
I'm
sleeping
just
with
fine.
me.
Yeah, he's like, "We're on the same team," and I'm like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa." Like, "You're
So
too
that'll
little."
happen
Yeah,
eventually.
Yeah.
so I can only imagine as they get older, but,
Lauren,
uh
it was so nice having you on today
Yes,
and like
thank you
talking about
both.
this. I know
Appreciate it.
you've done some awesome stuff for women in the community and I think it's just cool that you develop something that makes the tough times that are a little bit, I don't want to say easier, but softer and more thoughtful. So thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
And for anybody looking to find Lauren's business, you can go to BrooksyBox.com. Also, go to our Instagram. We're going to be launching this kind of right after this is aired. So if you guys are listening to this right now, it's already on our Instagram. We're running a giveaway for this month. So make sure you're going to at From Nine to Mom or at BrooksyBox, and you'll see the post there where you can enter to win some fun things from Lauren, some gift cards from us, and help support and bring more awareness to this month. But again, thanks, Lauren, for coming on. It's always so good to chat with you.
Thank you both. Appreciate you.
Time to clock back into that 9 to 5, everyone. See you next week.